This is Andrew from FanShare Sports. Hope you guys are having a great week and are ready for the John Deere Classic. It's been a while since we've done one of these videos, but we did want to do another one. We know that it can help to provide a little bit of guidance as to how you can navigate the site and get the most out of the various features on the site. So when you get to the landing page, you'll land on current trends, which is essentially just a snapshot of the golfers who are getting the most tags over the last couple of days. So the current trends includes the top 10 golfers, uh, along with details of the most recent post made about those golfers and their sentiment ratings. If you scroll over to the Newsfeed, this is where you'll find links to all of the content that we curate at FanShare Sports in real time. So if you scroll down this news feed, you'll find usually between 1 and 200 posts a week relating to that specific golf tournament. And these cover content sites, podcasts, YouTube videos, tweets, you name it. We capture all different formats of content in the newsfeed. Jumping over to FanShare Pro, this is where you'll find all of our most tagged golfer data. So the default view here are the most tagged golfers based on tag counts. You can sort this view by start calls for a bit of a truer picture of potential ownership levels, or you can even sort it by sit calls to see the names that are getting the most fade calls this week, which can be actually useful for identifying potential contrarian plays and GPP targets. Another great way to leverage this page and identify GPP targets is to filter by the DraftKings salary range. So if we set the filter to the 6,000 to 7,900 range, we see at the top there's 4 guys this week that are soaking up a lot of the mentions, and that's Wesley Bryan, Chad Campbell, Kelly Craft, and Bryson DeChambeau. So if you want to make a pivot and perhaps find somebody you like who will likely be much lower owned, just scroll down this list until you find that name. One other note about the most tagged list is, especially in a week like this where we have a somewhat weaker field than we're used to, a lot of the big names or the most expensive golfers will inherently be mentioned a lot just because they are the recognizable and popular names. So we see Danny Lee, Daniel Berger, Brian Harmon, and Kevin Kisner. So all the 10K plus guys are all in the top 11 highest owned golfers. I would be surprised, highest tag golfers this week. I would be surprised if all 4 of those names end up in the top 11 highest owned golfers. That's why it's important to pay attention to sentiment ratings. So Daniel Berger this week is a perfect example. He has an 85% sentiment rating, so that's not overly low, but at the same time, it is almost the lowest in the top 10 most tags after Zach Johnson. I would be surprised if Daniel Berger was in the top 4 highest owned golfers. I'm thinking he's going to be quite a bit lower than that. And that's based on his salary. He's the most expensive golfer in the field this week. The guys that are much more likely to pop are names like Wesley Bryan, Chad Campbell, Danny Lee, Kyle Stanley, purely based on just the difference in salary. And they also have pretty high sentiment. So the last thing I want you guys to check out is the blog. So every week, Logan Harper writes a piece called Taking the Pulse. And this article helps frame all the trends and the most tagged data that gets aggregated over the course of the week. And Logan draws his own conclusions and predictions out of this data. So it's really helpful. It sort of provides that additional level of analysis and breakdown of the data on the site and just helps frame it for you guys so you can make your decision-making process a little bit easier. So be sure to check it out this week under the blog section. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Hopefully that was useful. Any questions at all, hit us up on Twitter at FanShare Sports. Be sure to check back into the most tagged list. There's been a lot of movement over the last 12 to 24 hours, and there will continue to be movement on this list, throughout the rest of Wednesday evening and right up until lineup block. So be sure to keep checking back in to see who's likely to be the chalk for the John Deere Classic and where you might be able to differentiate your lineup. Okay, good luck this week. Take care, guys.